Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Your Know-It-All BFF, a place where we ironically don't know it all, and we gather here for moments of introspective growth. I'm your host, Brandy Cooper. Let's get into it, Bestie. Hey, besties. I'm going to be very upfront in this episode and just start it off by saying sometimes you need to go talk to the lady. There are a lot of undiagnosed mentally ill people just walking around, and sometimes you have to ask yourself, am I one of them? So I was out having lunch with my friend, and I was telling her my current circumstances and how I felt about life. And she's just like, maybe you should just get on some meds like I did. I really don't care about anything. And I felt like this was actually a sign because I had been internally toggling with the idea of seeing a psychiatrist for a while, but just more recently taking that idea more serious. I can be a little hotep, so I've definitely been one of those people that's like, I don't really trust Western medicine, blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole spill that the ashwagandha baddies give. For a long time, when it came to my mental health, I was trying everything but going to a therapist or a psychiatrist. I've taken just about every herb and supplement you could think of. I've microdosed, I've worked out, I prayed, and I won't say that those things haven't helped me at all, but none of them completely got rid of the problems for me. Like the other day, I was listening to a podcast, and the guest on the show was like some mental health person, and she goes, it's always when it comes to mental health that people are just like, pray and it'll be okay. But if you have a toothache or you break your arm, no one is just like, pray for the pain to stop. You know, you go and see the doctor or you go and see the dentist. You know, she was explaining that therapy along with psychiatry are tools that you utilize alongside of prayer. They don't take the place of one another. And that really resonated with me as someone who is a firm believer that God helps those who help themselves. I know it's like a scripture that's like faith without works is, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. So I made an appointment and I was diagnosed with extreme anxiety and, to my surprise, a bit of depression. So I was prescribed some meds, and I'm actually really proud of myself for taking that step. Because for the past 3 years, I have been hyper-focused on quote-unquote fixing myself and using holistic practices and different supplements to help, working out, all of that, the whole nine. And I was telling my psychiatrist about this, and she said those things were great, but it would be more effective for someone who had more mild symptoms, which actually makes a lot of sense to me because, again, they did help, but the problem still existed in a major way for me. I think I've been struggling with my mental health like all my damn life, but it didn't really start to crumble until like around 26 when I wasn't working. I was inside all day alone, just me and my dog. I was in a mentally and emotionally exhausting relationship, and we were in a pandemic. So I was just like kind of going crazy a little bit. At one point, my mental health was so bad, I couldn't be in large crowds or go to like a large grocery store by myself. I just wasn't me, and I was just, nobody had to call me crazy because I felt crazy. And I spent a long time trying to regulate it on my own. But listen, sometimes to fix a chemical imbalance, you need some damn chemicals. I've definitely been somewhat of a party girl in life, you know, nothing too crazy. But I had to ask myself, is being prescribed medicine where I really draw the line? Like, girl, be so for real. It was kind of giving those men who would drink lean, smoke weed, pop perks and all that, but they say they don't take cold medicine when they get sick. Like, make it make sense. Like, what are you trying to prove? You know, motherfuckers will pop perks, drink lean, smoke this GMO weed because this ain't the same weed from back in the day. The real weed has seeds in it. People will smoke hookah from clubs that have bacteria from last year floating in the bottom, drink alcohol till they pissy drunk, but let you mention a little antidepressant and suddenly it's too far. A motherfucker's looking at you like you crazy or something. And sorry, if you hear me sniffle, the pollen is eating my ass up. But when I look back on life, I always had anxiety, but at the time I didn't know the symptoms, so I just assumed this was how my brain worked. Like growing up, I had like an okay childhood, but my family wasn't really emotionally present. So there was a lot of underlying sadness that I didn't know how to face. And I just kind of turned it into anger and made it my personality because at the time I didn't have the mental tools to say, hey, parents or and the rest of my family, this is what I need from you to feel secure in the world. So it just kind of hardened a part of me. So I wouldn't have to face the sadness because I felt like, who would care anyway? And to this day, I still have like a super hard time letting anyone be there for me. It's so uncomfortable because I spent a lot of time from my childhood to my adulthood, again, quote unquote, fixing myself and learning things on my own through trial and error and processing my emotions on my own and talking to myself and uplifting myself, just being my own shoulder to lean on, which has also been the breeding grounds for my control issues and other mental issues that I've had along the way. I think in 2021, that was the first time I ever went to therapy, and I found out something that blew my mind. My deep desire to help people I love and attach myself to their problems wasn't because I was a great person who was sent to them by God. It was because I was codependent. My therapist at the time, she made me realize I was going out of my way for people and wanting to be loved for it. And I was getting mad when people didn't appreciate it how I thought they should, when those people never asked me to go out of my way in the first place. And that's when I realized you can only help yourself so much from YouTube University and overanalyzing and bullying yourself. Sometimes you need real licensed help. No matter how self-aware you are, some things you're just going to miss because you just don't have that clinical eye for it, I guess you would say. And in the Black community, we don't talk enough about how therapy and psychiatry have benefited us. It's like this taboo thing to talk about. People are embarrassed. And we mostly only hear from the naysayers that feel like they don't need it or like they tried it and it wasn't beneficial. Because I personally heard things like, those people don't really care about you. They'll prescribe you a whole bunch of things because they make commission off the medicine, and the meds turn you into a walking zombie and all that kind of stuff. And I do think like with psychiatry, with medicine, and with therapy, sometimes it can be a trial and error thing. Like sometimes you might get some medicine that may not work for you initially and you need to try something different. And with a therapist, sometimes you may find a therapist that you don't really connect with and that you don't feel like it's feeding you the way you need to be fed. And so you need to go and find another therapist that you can relate to or you feel more comfortable talking to. But luckily for me, I actually have some really close friends who've talked to me about how seeing a mental health provider has changed their lives for the better. When I mentioned that I was going to talk to a psychiatrist, one of my friends actually told me, I would love to see you medicated. And so now I'm no longer with depression and anxiety. I'm with Lexapro. And honestly, I think it's helped me a lot. It's like my brain wants to continue the repetitive habits, but something is blocking the overthinking. There were times that I was overthinking so much, I couldn't tell if it was my intuition or my anxiety. And I think that was a sign that I needed help because I had been overthinking for so long that there were moments that I couldn't tell the difference between my overactive mind and a gut feeling. And how quickly my mental health has improved since taking these meds. I realized you can't exercise your way out of long-term extreme mental health problems. If you have been deeply sad or anxious for years to the point it's holding you back from day-to-day activities and creating the life you want in some manner, you might need a little extra help, and that's okay. And don't even get me started on if mental health issues run in your family or if you've been through some extreme trauma, because my family fucked me up because they were fucked up. I don't think they were trying. It was just like certain things that they didn't get in their childhood, so they didn't have the tools to give to me. So I can only imagine what people who've grown up in a more extreme environment battle internally. Sometimes you're not shy. You're suffering from extreme anxiety that's holding you back, but you've made it a personality trait. Sometimes you don't know how unhappy you are until you get a chance to tap back into happiness. I will say getting on Lexapro was one of the nicest things I've done for myself in a long time, Between the sun staying out till 8 and Lexapro, I feel unstoppable right now. Like, not even kidding. I haven't felt this great since my early 20s when I was going out like 5 days a week and I didn't give a fuck about nothing. Staying out at the club till 5 in the morning, going home, taking a shower, getting dressed, and then going to work at like 7 a.m. I miss this. Like, it's not like I don't care about anything, but it's like I get to choose what I want to care about. And I'm not at the will of every emotion or anything that's not going my way. It's not overpowering, overtaking me. We have to stop normalizing suffering. Stop holding yourself back if there's something you want to fix, whether that's your mental health, your body, your teeth, your job, your relationship, whatever. Do what you need to do. I'm not saying that herbs and other things don't work, but personally, my brain chemicals was just too fried for all of that. Like, I tried, okay? I didn't give up on my mental health, but I had to take it up a notch because, like I said, those things weren't working as aggressively as I needed them to. This shit has restored my faith in Western medicine. Like, I might be out of my Hotep phase. And I'm so grateful that I listened to the people around me who love me enough to say, hey, I think meds could help you. They've helped me. So I'm here to tell you that if any of this resonated, maybe it can help you too. It's just something to think about. But until next time, we'll chat again soon, besties. Talk to you later. All right, besties, that's it for today's episode. If you love this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a rating. It helps your Know-It-All BFF reach more people who need these conversations. Follow me on Instagram at @ByBrandyCooper. That's ByBrandyCooper for more behind-the-scenes daily motivation and updates on new episodes. It inspires me to keep this going. Check the show notes for links, resources, and anything I mentioned in today's episode. Share this episode with a friend who needs to hear it because we're all out here trying to grow and glow together. And as always, DM me or tag me with your thoughts. I love hearing what resonated with you. Until next time, keep pushing your boundaries, keep choosing yourself, and remember, you already have everything you need to be great. Now go prove it. See you in the next episode.